Hello and welcome to the Tarkus Zone. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about the game Frozen Flame, and we're going to be talking about the new poll they just added to their Discord channel. So we're not going to be looking at any game video today. We're actually just going to be going to the Discord or the Discord server, and then within there they have a channel that they've called Roadmap Poll. And I am encouraging anyone who's thinking of getting this game or has purchased the game to come to this roadmap poll, and it's just as easy as clicking a thumbs up, or in one case I created an X because I didn't think it was for me. I didn't think it was a high priority for this game. Now, my opinions moving forward when I talk about this poll is my opinions alone. Now, obviously, people have different opinions on what they want fixed first or added to the game next, and these thoughts that I'm going to share with you are just my opinions, and let's look at it. So if you're not familiar with the Discord, you can get to the Discord by going to their Steam page, go to discussions, and then you can see social media links, and then you can just choose whatever social media platform or link you want to go to, Twitter or whatnot, but you got the Discord right here at the bottom. Okay, so let's just open up Discord here. So what they're doing here is they're asking us to give a thumbs up, and obviously to add a comment if you want. And in one case I said I did an X. So let's look at the building improvements. Yeah, I mean, generally you would want better control, snapping, rotations of all objects. I mean, because currently right now, like a wall, you can move it this way, but you can't like move it kind of this way. So you can't put it in the world as a triangle going, from corner to corner. It always is flat in the world. So being able to rotate every object three-dimensional, any whatever assets they've got would be nice, because it allows for better control of what you're trying to build in the game. I mean, so yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, we want this. Yay. Well, the question being is, what is their priority? Does this get 100 thumbs up and then they prioritize this? I mean, as priority value, I would say, yeah, it's in the top 10 of what they need to do with this game. But definitely they need to add better control to that. This one here gets me because it's called the multiplayer building restrictions. This one gets me as, why are they incorporating it as a poll? They have needed to do this from day one. They know they need to fix the hammer. As for the pillar protection thing, I've talked about that in other videos because I've seen it done across the board. Different survival games where you have an item that attaches to the building, and if that item's destroyed, then the building can be destroyed. So you basically, by destroying the item, you take possession of the building, basically. So if you protect that item very well, I mean, the building can be destroyed natural, or people can attack the building regardless of where the item is. But if you attack the building and get into the building and get to this item first, then you don't have to destroy the rest of the building. You can take possession of the building at that time. That's how it worked in other mechanics. Maybe that won't work for other survival games, but maybe that mechanic won't work for this game. I don't know. But what I'm more concerned about here is the destruction hammer settings. And I wrote, how is this not in your game yet? Oh my God, why do you do a poll on this? This has been needed from day one, because the problem with the habit now is anyone can go to the deletion hammer in the Q interface and destroy anything in the game, regardless if they own it or not. So PvP is kind of like worthless right now, because if you build an area and you plan to defend it, let's say you plan to defend it, and you're on, or you have a friend on, and you're always making sure the building's defending it. Some person who runs up to it starts attacking it, at least you have a chance to ward them off or stop them from destroying the building. But with the hammer the way it is now, the guy only needs like 2 seconds of his time, and he can just wipe the hammer across your entire building. And what happens is if your loot containers on the platform, those get destroyed, so all your items just end up on the ground. So if you have everything in all these locked boxes, those boxes are worthless, because once they wipe out the foundation with the hammer mechanic, those boxes are destroyed and all the items in the boxes fall down. And that also comes to a little issue I have with the weight system in this game. Everybody's like, the weight system's too much, the weight system's too much, we need to ease on the weight system. Yeah, I get that. We got to ease on the weight system a little bit. But we got to keep in mind is, for the scenario that I just gave you, if you ease it up too much, that means that when somebody wipes out your structure, they only need to take one trip to take all your stuff away. I mean, because when you look at it as a survival PvP game, you don't want somebody to be able to carry uber amounts of stuff, because then there's no strategy and who's your pack mules and who's your DPSs and who's your, I mean, because that's the thing about it is when you attack in a game, you have a few guys on the side that don't have anything in their inventory. So when you destroy the building, those guys run up and pick the items up because they have an empty inventory, and then they run off with the items, but they still don't get it all because of the weight system in the game. But if you remove that weight system in the game, that means that I, Tarkus, could take out an entire building if I want and take every item that they own and do it with ease. Where in most survival games, I would need to make 15, 16 trips to the location. And during that time, then somebody would show up and say, dude, you're taking our stuff. And they would fight me off. So that, I know I got off on a little bit on the weight system, but that weight system definitely needs to be addressed a little bit. I mean, it needs to be tweaked. It doesn't need, I don't think it needs to be removed altogether. So they need to add, they need to fix this. And as my priority number one, this is it. They need to fix this building restriction, the hammer thing. All the rest of it is okay, add it. But if they can't fix this, then the game, I mean, if they came back to me and said, Tarkus, we're not fixing this for another year, I'm uninstalling this game. I mean, if that's their reply to how they're going to deal with this, the hammer destroying everything kind of thing is, we won't fix this for a year, or we don't have any intention of fixing this because other things won priority in this list, then I'll uninstall the game at that time. They just need to be honest with us. That's all they really need to do, because the game, to me, at that point, just remains a PvE game, and because you can't really make PvP makes sense in this game if you have a magic wand that just erase buildings. I mean, that's just silly mode. Deck support, yeah. I mean, I think deck support needs to happen. It's not a high priority for me. I didn't give it a thumbs up. It's not a high priority to me. New decorations, those are good priorities. You know, I gave that a thumbs up. Option to sell items, that would work on the public servers, I think. With private servers, I mean, being able to, I mean, currently right now you just drop an item and somebody can pick it up. But for actually to have currency in the world where you're buying items from other people, I think the game needs to be a little fleshed out better and more, and a guaranteed more persistent world, meaning it's a public server that you know it's not going to go down, and then and trading with people, that makes sense. But I just don't see that happening on private servers that you don't know if they're going down the next day. I mean, who's gonna, I mean, maybe I'm just not understanding what they're saying, or what they're, you know, option to sell and exchange, all unused. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind having a trade feature where you walk up to somebody and you can trade with them. You don't have to drop it on the ground. You can just open trade with them, and you can slip what you want to them. They slip what you want, and that's fine. I mean, yes. I mean, that's it's got 7 thumbs up. So, I mean, obviously important to some people. Inventory improvements like sorting, you know, hide quest items. Yeah, obviously that is housekeeping. That's what I call ease to management of the game. And it's, to me, it's not a high priority. It is a priority, but you know, again, it's got 8 thumbs up there. So the combat improvements. Yes. I mean, how much could I say to this? Yes, you need to improve the combat elements of this game. I mean, even adding this to the poll doesn't make much more sense. It doesn't make sense to me, because it's like, you guys know, I mean, I've done enough videos, me being completely naked, combating things in the game that are just easy mode, and I put my monsters on my server on double hit. They got double hit points and they do double damage, and I'm still running around naked killing things. So yes, they need to improve combat quite a bit. Musical instruments, this is where I put the X in. I was like, come on guys, really? I mean, I get wanting to add this stuff to the game, and this is a social mechanic. They spell it right out here. This is a social mechanic, so it's not like I'm going to be a bard and twing on my twinger and have that give buffs to people around me. That's not what they're asking here. They're just asking for a social mechanic added to the game. And if you asked me right now if this was even close to on my list of things that need to happen to this game, it's not even close. It wouldn't even occur to me to even ask for this right now, or to ask for the developers to take their time to do this, where there's so many other things that are obviously priority. I mean, if they had a team of 1,000 people, obviously they wouldn't be asking these things, because they would have fixed this by now. They would have added these things by now, because this is not, I mean, how do you think they came up with this poll list? I mean, because people have told them this is what we want the game to do. I mean, and again, I think this is about their priority. You know, how many developers that they got and how much time and resources they want to spend, and which one of these do they want to go first. So I started the first X on this, and I think people would just come up behind me and added the X, because I don't think new combat abilities. Didn't we just go over this? Oh, I think this is a talent tree. Combat improvements and new combat. Oh, this is the talent tree. For me, the talent tree is very vanilla in this game. It's not very robust at this time. So I imagine over time they were going to be adjusting this. So I see this needing to be adjusted, and I think they know that. Selected community feedback. Okay, selected community feedback. Feedback, selected areas for realism. So I have no idea what this is. I didn't vote on it. I don't know what they're asking there. Cooking rebalanced new stations. I think the cooking right now works well. It would be nice if you could queue the items like you can, but if they're going for realism, then how they have it now is pretty real. You cook a meal one at a time, and if you want to cook multiple meals, just like if you're in a restaurant, you have multiple stoves and you have multiple cooks. People want everything to be queued and, queue 100 boiled dinners and come back and there's 100 boiled dinners there. I mean, that's not really realistic, but if that's what people want, then who am I to say they can't have it? It just seems not realistic to change it much more than they already have. But again, queuing it up, having it. Let me just. They also said here, new cooking station, overall cooking rebalancing. Yeah, I mean they can improve it. What that ends up being, I'm good with it either way. Mounts. Now this is mounts and ability to fly in restricted. Right now you can go into your server settings and change this yourself and allow people to fly in the restricted areas. But I think what they're asking is, do you want us to make that a core element in the game? Do you want us to, when you buy the game, that is core stock, that you can fly anywhere you want. Now when we talk about the PvP survival mode servers that they've been talking about, I would assume that flying would be shut off altogether and you'd have to rely on your mount. Because I can imagine so many people, grieving people, just flying away, and that'd be annoying as heck. At least if somebody needs the mount and then run away with their mount, you have a time to knock them off their mount. But I don't think anything kicks you out of the fly ability unless you do it yourself. So even if a player, unless they make a mechanic where you take damage while in flight, then you'll fall to, you'll fall. I don't know. I mean, I would like to see mounts. If the maps get bigger, then obviously mounts would be nice. And it also adds a lot to a game, and it allows trade value to a game. So if you make the mounts tameable in the game, so I can actually go tame a mount, and then I could sell that mount to somebody who didn't want to spend the time taming it, that you open up, and everybody likes mounts in games. I mean, they like to fluff them up, because then you could do a cash store where you can sell cosmetic stuff for those mounts. So that's a little bit of revenue that the developers could make on the side in-game cash shop that's not pay to win, but just allows you to reskin your mount or maybe reskin your armor. All right. Enemy AI improvements. I thought we just didn't we go over that already? Did I not? Was I not? Maybe we didn't. Maybe I'm just. Combat improvements we did. So the enemy AI improvements. Yeah, I mean they need to improve the way the AI works in this game. They're just close to stupid or close to so. I don't know what other than if I were to scale incompetence and brilliancy, their AI is so close to incompetent that it's almost laughable. And there's been many times I've played this game and have belly laughed till I hurt inside because of the way their AI functioned in this game. Because it was just funny. It was like, what is going on here? Is everybody in this game, every monster in this game related to the Three Stooges? Because that's what gets me. It's like, oh my goodness, really? So yeah, I would say improve the AI of the enemy would be nice. And chanting, that would be nice to add. I don't know how they're going to implement it, but yes, let's add that. Curse lands, a hardcore location with daily activities, new enemies, and new epic loot. That would be nice, again, on a public server and play, yeah, I mean, and then the last thing they ask here is, and this is what gets me, is survival mode public servers. How is this even in their poll? I mean, if they don't have any intention to add this to the game, then I'm going to uninstall it today. I mean, because that's what I bought. When I bought the game, when the Steam page came up when I bought the game, and then I went to YouTube and researched the game before even spending money on the game, it had said MMO PvP survival. And that's what it was listed as. Now it's not listed that way. I think if you go to the Steam page now, it is not listed as an MMO PvP survival game anymore. It is listed as a single player co-op game. So they've actually changed I got 394 hours into this game. So they've changed the description. So if they're thinking that they're going to basically say, we don't want to do this mode now because the priorities, the PvEers want us to go this way, that's fine. I'm fine with that. I'll just uninstall your game and move on. That's my... I mean, they just need to be honest with us. They just need to come forward and say, we are going to do this or we're not going to do this, because I don't want to waste any more time playing a game that is not going to be what I thought I had signed up for. Because when I went to their Steam page, when it first came out, it was a PvP MMO category survival game. So they either need to add this or they need to tell us that they're not going to add this. And maybe it's in the list as what a priority is, what their priority is. Well, I would say fix your game and then add this, because they've got other things in this list that are higher priorities, and they need to fix these issues that people have. Obviously, it's a list of things that people have asked for. I guess they're requests, not issues at this point, but it's both, because being able to destroy someone's building with the hammer is crazy mode, and so they got to really fix that. But the rest of it, I guess it could be done, could not be done. But if they drop this aspect of the game, the survival mode, public server mode, then Tarkus is done. I've got so many other games in my wish list that I'm going to be playing anyway, so I would just uninstall this game and move on. Well, again, these were just my opinions of the list. And if you come to the Discord, please share your, check, or even you can add your own, own thoughts, like this musical instrument somebody wrote here. Oh no, that was just a developer that made a comment there. So I guess I'm the only one that's made a comment on these polls. I guess. I mean. I made a comment only because I'm like, really? I mean, you're not, this is not something you're really, this is the one. It's like, you're not going to fix this? I mean, and you got to put a poll out to ask if people want this fixed or not? I mean, again, if it comes down to the fact that they're not going the PvP route, then it's not much of a problem, because in a PvE environment or a server where everything's protected and people are in that mindset, I'm fine with that. They just need to be honest with us. If it's not going down towards the PvP side of things, then just say you're not doing that. And people like me that had bought it for that reason have gotten my money's worth as of today, and I'll just move on to another game. All right, I hope this video was helpful to you. Thank you for joining me. This has been the Tarkus Zone.